they get shocked when they see the way Muslims are living in the West and how many freedoms they exercise in the West, which is the essence of Islam. But critics would argue that you changed your title twice. You came up with "What's the trouble with Islam" first, and then you said "What's the trouble with Islam today?" And some critics have been saying that she's backtracking her own words.
These critics, by the way, will never be satisfied with any kind of redemption that I seek in their eyes. They will always find a reason to excoriate me, to pillory me.
Why?
But let me just explain before we even go to the reason why. Let me just explain. The reason I revised my title from The Trouble with Islam to The Trouble with Islam Today is precisely because I listened to my critics. They made the point that the trouble is not with Islam in general. Irshad Manji goes out of her way in her book to show that for hundreds of years, Islam was a progressive religion, and they are right. Which is why I said, okay, rather than be arrogant and pretend that I have nothing to learn from my critics, I will listen. I will do exactly what they're asking me to do. I will listen and I will adjust for the sake of accuracy and for the sake of dialogue. And so I changed the title to reflect more accurately, more honestly, what was already in the book. Now these critics come back and say, oh, you see, you can't trust her because now she's changing her title. This is the point I'm making, right? That these people are only looking to be negative. They are only looking to attack. Why? Because their monopoly on power is being threatened. And the only way they know how to respond is to be dishonest about it. Instead of coming clean and saying, we need to figure out ways of sharing power more reasonably, but ways that still maintain my dignity as a Muslim man, instead of being reasonable and honest that way, they will simply say, no matter what Irshad Manji does, it's going to be wrong. Well, a lot of younger Muslims see through that kind of tactic. They consider these people irrelevant because this underground movement for change truly is gaining ground, and it will soon be above the ground.
If I give you my personal take on this, I mean, I never heard anything that's blasphemous or anything that's attacking from you. Why do you think there is this negative hype about Irshad Manji? Why is this hush, 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 shh, keep her out in the woods? Why is it like that?
You tell me, Imran. You're much closer to your countrymen and women than I am. Tell me why. For all of the positive and optimistic and hopeful messages coming from me and my book about how we can use what was always right with Islam, namely ijtihad, to correct what has gone wrong with Islam, namely tribalism. Why, despite that very respectful approach, does there continue to be such a controversial label attached to my name?